Hi everybody, welcome to Dulcimerica. My name is Futch. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to start off a very special four-part series for the month of February in 2020. I'm going to take something, a very small concept, and stretch it out into a number of different concepts. This will be somewhere in the intermediate to advanced level, especially for those of you who are looking to write your own music, do some really interesting different things with it, find some other options available to you, and also if you're thinking about doing your own recording, this will be really a big taco, a burrito if you will, of all of this stuff put together. So thank you very much once again. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over to the computer. I'm going to set up a template using Logic Pro X on the a Mac computer. And once I get that template set up, we're going to take 3 passes through a piece of music that has been designed and created to show you how you can use key changes to make your music more interesting. So let's go on over to the computer right now and see what we've got. Okay, so right now I am in Logic Pro X, and this is the digital audio workstation I use for producing. I graduated from GarageBand, so those of you out there using GarageBand looking to get another level up, Logic Pro is absolutely fabulous, comparable to Pro Tools and other really cool recording programs out there. So what I've got is an audio track where I'm going to put the chords for the dulcimer, and I'll add tracks to that as we move along. But to guide me along tempo-wise and to put some groove into things, I've got a drummer track here. And the drummer track is a feature of Logic Pro X that takes a MIDI drummer, that is a digital drummer basically, and all the parts were played by real drummers and then digitized to where you can create these rhythms in the program itself. To give you an idea, I'll go ahead and I'll play a little bit of the track I've got. The track or patch is called Blue Ridge, and it's by drummer Austin, influenced by roots, folk, and Americana. There are brushes as opposed to drumsticks on this track for a softer feel, and it's really good stuff. You have a lot of control over everything here. But let me go ahead first of all and add another measure to this. I'm also going to turn on the loop function so I can audition this track without me running out of drum tracks, and then I'll add them to the rest of the tune here. So let's see what we got. All right, so I like the tempo, I like the basic groove. I'm going to take us out of the loop function, and I'm going to continue to add measures to this until we get up to say around 3 or 4 minutes. Now another way I can do this is to get in there and copy a bunch of these beats on the timeline and then just cut and paste them along. We're at 1 minute and that's 3 minutes and 50. Oh, we're good now. It's not going to be that long of a tune. I just want to make sure I don't run out of beats while I'm still over here playing. All right, so now all I have to do is arm this track and get levels and make sure the dulcimer is being heard wonderfully. Let me go ahead and click R on that. I'm going to turn up that particular channel on my M-Audio M-Track 8 audio interface, 8-track interface, fabulous thing. Let me go ahead and give this dulcimer a strum. Nice clean signal. Probably even turn that down just a little bit so we are not in danger of clipping. It's still a pretty hot signal. Take it down a little bit more. There. So down there in the bottom left-hand corner you can see the LED meter. That's green, and you can see that when I strum it gets yellow at the top, and that's perfectly fine. It's when it gets red that you have to worry, because then you have overloaded that particular channel and you might get distortion or clipping or digital artifacts, stuff you typically don't want in your recording. All right, so we've got this going now. It's just time to sit down and start playing the tune. Okay, so we have our drum loops set up in Logic Pro X, and we have a channel assigned to the mountain dulcimer. We have good level, and we are going to begin recording the project now. But before we get into that, let's take a look at our piece. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here on the screen. This is from a workshop I teach called Key Changes Made Easy, or Easy Key Changes. And basically, key changes are a great way of injecting excitement and variety into a tune. And a lot of times when you hear these key changes, they're often what we call direct modulations, and they're usually a half step or so. We take the key that we're in, D for example, and at the end of a chorus, we then kick it up a half step to D sharp. Well, of course, we can't do that as mountain dulcimer players. There are only a couple of places where we can do a half step modulation. But there are other types of modulations, whole steps and 3 whole steps and 5 half steps and all kinds of different things like that. But the one I want to get into right now is called a parallel modulation, parallel key modulation. What we're going to do here is we're going to move from the key of A minor to the key of A major. And so if you look at the music, we're going to go through the piece. The parallel keys only have one thing in common, and that is that they share a tonic or a root note, in this case A. So A minor and A major. Other than that, these keys have absolutely nothing in common. In fact, let's take a look real quick at the ingredients of each of these keys to understand why it works the way it does when it really shouldn't work at all. Typically, you want a few common chords in between the keys so you can kind of move back and forth. But in the key of A minor, the scale is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And the chords that come out of that are going to be A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, and G major. Then we're going to be moving from that key, A minor, into A major. Now, A minor doesn't have any flats or sharps at all. A major has 3 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. That particular scale, even though we're using the same letters, we have those 3 sharps. That's going to change 3 notes for sure here. We've got A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and G sharp are the notes of A major. And those yield the chords A, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, and G sharp diminished. There is not a single chord in either of these keys that is shared with one another. Every single chord is different. The reason this works, however, is because the chord that we're using to switch into the new key to modulate is a chord that shares a root with the other chord. So A minor, the root of that chord is A. You would build an A minor chord, A, C, and E. And the root of the A major key, or the A major scale, is A major. Again, there's that A, there's the root, there's the tonic, but then you spell the chord C sharp and E. Just because that root note, that tonic note is the same, is the only reason why this progression works the way it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through, and the way it's written out for you right there, the chords are written out as quarter notes for the first 3 lines, and then in the 4th line, it's 2 quarter notes and a half note. But we are actually going to treat each one of these chords as a full measure. So 4 beats, a whole note for each one of these chords as we move through. I'm just going to play it through a couple of times. Now I'm going to play the first 2 lines twice so we really get to soak in that A minor mood. And then we'll move over to A major and we'll go through that twice and repeat that a couple of times over to give us enough to work with, and then we'll take it to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to run over here. I'm going to start the recorder. I'm going to let it go and do its drum beat for a bit, give me a chance to get back into place, and then we'll go ahead and we'll play through the piece. Here we go. All right, so even though the drums are still going, we can handle that later on. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. So, the first phase is done. We've laid down drum tracks to give us a nice tempo to work with. And we've got the first track of Mountain Dulcimer down, just playing the chords for our parallel modulation, parallel key modulation. And we're going from A minor to A major. The chords are down. Now it's time to bring in some bass. So I'm going to lay down some bass in the next episode, and we'll just keep building this thing until at the very end I'm going to put it all together, mix it down, throw a few extras in there, and show you how that all works out. Thank you guys very, very much for joining me. And by the way, you can download the resource materials for this episode so you can go back and watch it over and have that stuff right at your fingertips by going to patreon.com/BingFutch and use the open house featured tag section. You'll be able to find the information and the downloads right there. And you can use this to follow along for the next 3 episodes. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. We'll see you next week.